Hello everyone, welcome to that Vinyl channel. I'm that Vinyl Guy Boss. On this episode, I'm going to be going over my top pet peeves for buying records both online and in brick and mortar stores. So stick around and don't touch that dial. Alright, so welcome back. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and do the online pet peeves first and then do the brick and mortar stores pet peeves. Okay, so the very first pet peeve is when there's no grading. Okay, now this is basically a problem for eBay and for Mercari, not so much for Discogs. I believe Discogs has a mandatory field. Somebody has to put a grading in for the record, but on eBay and Mercari, they don't have that. So basically the problem is when they list the record as used. So used is not a grade of a record. Used is not a condition of a record, not according to vinyl collectors like myself. Used is a state of a record. Either the record is new or the record is used. That's its state. Okay? A grade of a record or a condition of a record would be near mint, VG, VG+, EX, poor, fair, that kind of thing. Okay? But it would not just be used. So a lot of people just list the record as used and they don't put any other condition down. And I really stay away from buying records from people who put auctions up like that on eBay or have them for sale on eBay like that or anywhere else for that matter. I think maybe even Etsy I've seen that. So, but anyways, please always have a grading out there for your record. Okay, my second pet peeve, and this goes pretty much for all of them, for Etsy, Discogs, eBay, Mercari, is when they don't have a comment, okay, or explain how they arrived at the condition of the record. Now they have a condition down, let's say they have VG+, okay, but they don't explain, okay, was it play tested, was it visually inspected, what about it, maybe just say VG+, because VG+ is a record that has some flaw, minor flaw, but some flaw somewhere, and I would like to know where that flaw is. I would like to know why, what's the justification for you into saying this record is VG+. Whatever the reason why you decided to make the record VG+ or EX or VG or whatever the condition is, I would like to know at least a sentence or something as how or why you arrived at that grade. We can't see the record, we can't hold the record, you have it. Okay, we would like to know at least in some way what the condition of the record is. And I hate to say it, but VG and VG+, there's a wide range of what that could be. All right, and we would just like to know how you actually came to deciding that that's the condition of the record. Now, my third pet peeve is when people send the wrong variant of a record. Now, this is more a problem on Discogs than anywhere else. I would say roughly 20 to 30% of the records I buy on Discogs, I will get the wrong variant. Okay, and what I mean by that is like on Discogs, right? They have like a list of all these different variants from the one record, different pressing plants, reissues, different years that it was produced out, all these things that make these records different variants, okay? And sometimes we're actually looking for a particular variant of a record, right? There are people out there that are completists. We found out that a record pressed in 1972 has an extra track on it that wasn't on it in 1969, so we want that particular pressing, okay? And the problem is that the sellers don't pay attention. They see the picture of the cover of their record, they see the cover on Discogs, they say they have it for sale, and that's it. And then, I go to Discogs and I buy the record, I think I'm buying that pressing, but then they send me the pressing that's not the one that I bought. So let me give you another example on this, okay? So I have two records here, okay? 245s, all right? So these are both Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas, okay? So this one here is an original pressing. I think it came out in 76, right? So here's an original 45. It came out in 76, okay? It is a radio edit. It's like 3 minutes and 25 seconds. And this is a very common record, okay? So this here is actually a very uncommon record. Now this here is a 1980s, I think it came out around 86. This is a 1986 reissue. So this actually has the LP version. It's 5 minutes and something, 5 minutes and 13 seconds. This has an LP version of the record. So these here look very similar. And and if I want to get this one here from 1986, that's much more uncommon. Okay, this one here is a dime a dozen. Okay, if I go on Discogs and I buy this one, all right, and you send me this one, I'm not going to be very happy. And this happens more often than you think on Discogs. So, just please pay attention to the version that you're putting up on Discogs, and it matches the record that you actually have. And the fourth pet peeve for buying records online is when a seller does not respond to an email, doesn't respond to a question, doesn't respond for a clarification. I get actually no response at all from the seller. I want to know, hey, they have a picture and it has a mark on the record and the guy didn't mention it in the comments. I want to, what's that mark that I'm seeing? Is that a scratch or what is that? Whatever reason, I asked a question. I want to know something about what you have for sale and you do not respond. That really tees me off and it really makes me not want to buy from you, and I just move on to somebody else. So that really is another pet peeve of mine. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to brick and mortar stores. So first of all, I want to talk about, these are kind of pet peeves, but not kind of pet peeves because the stores have done something wrong. It's something that I expect a store to do that some stores don't do. But one of the things is stores that don't have dollar bins or bargain bins. I actually have been to brick and mortar stores, used record stores, that do not have a bargain bin or a dollar bin. I like digging through bargain bins to find things that are obscure. Let me show you something. So I got this yesterday at digging through a bargain bin. It was only $3. It's a record called Fist, and looked pretty cool. The cover looked pretty cool. That's what the back looks like. I never heard of this band before, right? But I don't want to have to search through your whole store, especially if you have a big store, under all the S and all the M's and all the all the O's, and look for records like this. I want to go to one area that has records that are, obscure records that you're probably not going to get a whole lot of money for, like this record here, and I want to dig through that. And there are stores that do not have bargain bins. There are stores that don't have dollar bins. And it kind of turns me off whenever I walk into a store, because that's what I'm looking for. Another thing is stores that do not have a new arrival area. Now, new arrivals is when when the owners get records from whatever source. They get it from people who bring records in for sale, right? And they turn around and resell them, or they may buy them themselves from wherever, right? But they have one place in the store where they show records that recently arrived. Usually the records would stay in these bins for maybe a week or two or longer. Okay, I want to walk in, I want to see all the brand new records that came in the store in one area. Again, like I said before, just a minute ago, I don't have to dig through your whole entire store, look through all the A's and all the B's and all the C's to see what records that you got in since last time I was here. I want to see them all in one area. So now let's talk about actually pet peeves in brick and mortar stores. This next one is not all that common. I have been to 2 stores that there was a problem in, but it is a pet peeve. One store was in Las Vegas and one store was in St. Petersburg. I'm not going to call the stores out. I'm not here to point fingers at any one particular store, but the problem is when stores don't have price tags. They have no price tags on any of the records for sale. Entire store just full of records, no price tags. I have no idea how much they want for a record. It really turns me off. And walking through the store, if you have a record that I think should be about $10 or so, or $5, $10, and you have a price sticker on it for $20, I'm not going to waste my time pulling that off the shelf and taking it to the register. You know what? It's your store. You have the right to ask for $20 for that record if that's what you think you can get. Okay, and who knows, maybe you can. But to me, that's not a $20 record. I'm not paying for it, so I'm going to move on. That's how it works. But if you have no price tags, if nothing is priced, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm taking up. And let me tell you a story about one of the stores that I went to. And this is the store in St. Petersburg. So I went through the store. I spent a couple hours. I picked out, 6, 7 records. I wasn't sure, but had a rough idea of what these records might cost. No price tags anywhere. Nothing was priced. So I took these records up to the desk. And the guy at the checkout, he took the records and he went over to a computer, and I saw what he was doing. He was going through Discogs and through eBay and looking how much those records sold for, each and every one. That was really that wasn't good for me as a customer. I can go to eBay and I can go to Discogs and I can buy the records myself. So you're sitting there and making me wait 5, 7, 8 minutes while you're going through all these records and going through Discogs and eBay. You know what? If that's how you want to price your records, more power to you. But do it after hours. Do it before the store opens. Do it when the store is closed. Okay? Do it at home. Okay, but don't do it in front of the customer. It really does look bad. And here's another pet peeve that only some stores do, not a whole lot, luckily. Okay, and it's definitely a pet peeve. Is when they have their records, used records, sealed in plastic and taped shut, and they have a note on it saying that if you want to open this record, if you want to look at the condition of this record, bring this record to the front desk, and we will watch over you as you take this record out and look at it. We will babysit you. You know, that's like treating me like a child. I don't like to be treated like a child. You know, I know how to handle a record. I want to go in. I want to look at a bunch of records. I want to take it out of the sleeve. I want to look at it. Is the record in good shape, in bad shape? I want to put it back in. Either I want it, I don't want it, and put it on the shelf. I don't want to have to go up to the front register and say, hey, whoever you are, I want to open this record up and examine it. And they watch over me like I'm a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old. You know, that's something that I really don't like. You know, I had before. I'm sure I will again, but it's very annoying. You know, it really makes me want to go to stores that don't do that. Now, I understand maybe they got burned in the past. Maybe somebody came in with some sticky fingers and ruined one of their records. I mean, you know what? This is where they get the money from. I understand that, okay? But when you go to a grocery store, okay, and you're reaching for up on the high shelf for the pickles, and your arm hits a dry mayonnaise, it's glass, and it falls and it breaks. That's the cost of doing business that happens. Okay, you can't sit there and have, you know, a stock boy follow this person around and make sure that he's not going to break a dry mayonnaise. Most of the people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to have average care, and they're not going to be breaking a bunch of stuff. And most people in the record stores, in my opinion anyways, especially a used record store, are going to have, you know, somewhat care for the records that they're looking at. I do understand that the potential for them to scratch a record or ruin a record, but really, does it happen all that much? I think it's few and far between. Okay, before I leave you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you one story real quick. It happened to me a few years ago. This is a store that I had been going to since the 1990s. The store had been there, I think, since the 1970s. I used to go there 3 or 4 times a year. But anyways, I was in this one record store, and I did notice that on the floor around the record store, they bought somebody's huge collection, and they had all these boxes on the floor. And I was looking around, and I was wanting to know, can I look at these records? Are these records for sale, or are they off limits, et cetera, et cetera? So I talked to the owner, and you know, I had dealt with the owner before. The owner is not the most friendliest of people, but I never had an issue before with the owner. So, but I asked the owner, you know, can I look at these records? Are they for sale? And they go, sure. Just let you know that I haven't been through them, I haven't priced them. So if you want anything, bring it up, and I'll tell you how much it costs. Now, I understand that, okay? This is a store that has things priced. Everything in the store is priced, but these records, these boxes of records that they had, you know, scattered throughout the store, you know, they just got in and they hadn't sorted through them, and they hadn't figured out the price on them, and that's fine. I understand that. So I was actually on the floor, and I was digging through some of these boxes. You know, that's the best part about this hobby, right? Is digging through things and finding things, right? So I'm digging through these boxes of records, and I come across one record that I was interested in, and I took it out, and I pulled it out, and the record was warped. I mean, like, serious warped. I'm talking like somebody put it on the dashboard of a car in July. It was 100 degrees weather. It was there for 8 hours, and it had this huge warp. There's no way any record player could play this record. The record was just trashed. And so I thought I'd be doing something nice. So I put the record back in the sleeve, and I took it up to the register. And it was just me and the owner in the store. It wasn't anybody else. But I took the record to the owner. I go, you probably don't want to have this on the floor. This record is warped beyond its ability to play. You may want to put it on the side. Now, basically, I'm doing their job for them, right? I'm now their employee and not getting paid, really, okay? Because I'm looking through these records, and I'm not sitting there and telling them every single record that's wrong with every record, but I found this one, it was warped, it was a really bad record, so I took it up there, you know, so at least they know that's a bad record. So this owner looks at me and gets really upset and goes, don't do that, don't tell me records I can't sell, you know, I decide what records that I can sell and I can't sell, and you know, and she really gets perturbed, really gets mad at me and angry. I'm going like, whoa. You know, I'm just trying to help you out. You really don't want to have this, you know, for sale out here, especially if you're telling people these are for sale. So since that happened, I think I've only been back to that store a couple times. I definitely don't go back nearly as often as I used to. We're customers and we are there, and you know, and and we want to be treated with a little bit of respect. And I understand sometimes people get up on the wrong side of the bed and they have bad days, right? But there is no reason to sit there, yell at me, and get mad at me because I'm trying to help you out a little bit. All right, so that's my video on my pet peeves. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any pet peeves, I would love to go ahead and hear about them. Go ahead and leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to all comments. But I do want to thank you for joining me today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, now is a great time to do so. Go ahead and tap on that subscribe button, and don't forget to bash on that bell for notifications, and that way you know when I put up new videos. But again, I do want to thank you, and I'll see you all next time.